The first of the one-day sprint rallies for 2017 is also our first forest rally and promises to deliver plenty of challenges over 195 kilometres.
It's great coming back to a rally that you've done well at in the past, and having been my first rally that I won last year, it's really special to come back.
Definitely coming off the win, it's put a bit of spring in my step, but after not finishing the last 4 years, pretty nervous just to get to the end.
If experience counts, Dylan Turner might struggle here.
Canterbury Rally, it's my first time, never done it. Even Greg Murphy has done the rally a lot more than me, he's done it 3 times.
Canterbury's always been good to me. The main goal still is to get to the finish, and that's what we want to do at every rally this year.
Welcome to the Lone Star Rally of Canterbury, round 3 of the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship. This is the home of Ashley Forest and our first true forest event of the season. Our crews have a challenging day ahead of them, culminating in 2 night stages before we can decide the winner of what has been an exciting season so far.
Local hero Matt Summerfield is in form after his Rally Whangarei win.
I'm looking forward to being at home. It's awesome being in Rangiora, hometown. Everything's close by, and I know my way around already, so yeah, it's pretty cool in your backyard, I suppose.
Andrew Hawksbill will run first on the road, but still trails Graham Featherston in the chase for the championship.
A big field out there, and I'm racing a lot of guys that have been there for a long time, a lot of experience. You're always trying, but you've got to be realistic, so that's all I'm trying to be, is realistic, and I just love even just the podium for me at this stage is awesome.
It's been tight and it's great, I love it when it's like this, and coming out of a stage and there's 3 or 4 seconds separating 3 or 4 cars, it's fantastic, and it's we couldn't have hoped for more, really.
For Greg Murphy, this is actually his 3rd start at Canterbury, and that brings some confidence to the veteran race driver.
I'm just looking forward to actually putting the car on some roads that that I, as I say, have a little bit of familiarity with, and I don't have to be searching for, brand new knowledge every metre that I travel.
So let's take a look at round 2 Rally Whangarei. Wet conditions made the roads unpredictable. Emma Gilmore, the first to be caught out. Dave Holder retired the Hyundai with engine issues, leaving Sloane Cox the clear leader until he was caught out in the rain on stage 10. So Matt Summerfield took the overnight lead, but his car was crippled and a frantic early morning service saw him back in the race on day 2. Dylan Turner had been sensational in his Audi AP4, surprising everyone to take 2nd overall. Andrew Hawksbill was the fastest man on day 2 after retiring on day 1, left wondering what might have been.
We had a small problem at Whangarei, and in hindsight now, we should have carried on and driven the car through in 2-wheel drive, and we would have been in a much better position in the championship, and that was my mistake.
Darren Galbraith had a patched-together engine, but it survived the 2 days to put him 3rd overall. But it was Matt Summerfield who fought back from his dramas to take his 2nd NZRC win. Graham Featherston leads the championship, just 2 points from Summerfield, another 2 back to Turner.
Well, we're here on a slightly inclement Sunday morning, and I'm here with a very special person, Ashton Bell. Ashton, tell me what you've got there in front of you.
I won a colouring competition, and it is a car that I coloured in, and it took me about 2 days to think about and coloured in.
Well, every single car is going to be carrying a copy of that in their road books today.
So the first stage of the day starts at Ashley Forest headquarters, up the Rally Sprint Road into the forest. Some new roads in here and a fast downhill finish. The forest has been home to rallying for 40 years, and the iconic Rally Sprint was first run on the Loop Road in 1980. The event caught the imagination of Kiwis and became the place to be for the top drivers in the sport. Trevor Crowe astounded us, winning in a circuit race car.
There will be no more surprised person than Trevor Crowe himself if he wins this event.
Then the Group B era arrived with Tony Teasdale in the 6R4. Possum Bourne took his victory in a lightweight turbo Subaru.
His split to the hairpin was just over 38, so he's going to be in the fives. 1:5:28, and that's it. Possum Bourne has won it.
Ron Millen returned with a Superlight RX-7 and broke the magic minute.
Let's have a look as he comes down to the line. Are we going to make history at Ashley Forest? We have 59.90.
Be just flat down here. This will be the ride of a life.
But no one had more victories on this road than Kim Austin. Mazda RX-7, Nissan Pulsar, and finally that magic day in the Starion V8.
Unbelievable stuff from Kim Austin in the Kempe's Mitsubishi Starion, and he takes the record. He takes everything at the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint for 1999.
In 2016, Sloane Cox finally broke Kim's record on his hill climb car and put his name into the history books.
Coming into Rally Canterbury, an event I love, but also even better than that, the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint. Came down last year, it was a wicked event for Cox Motorsport. We beat the record 3 times, 17-year-old record, so it's pretty special for the team. So it's Forest down here, it means a bit to us, and we love coming here and racing these roads.
And this is a big attraction for really passionate rally fans, and there are a huge amount out in the forest this weekend.
Andrew Hawkswood first on the road, conditions, well, wet, turn it up.
It's flat out from the start, and you know, if you lose time, there's, you know, you don't have another day to make up or to gain more points. So, you know, it's every corner's critical really, and you know, listening to the notes, it actually probably changes your mindset a little bit, because you know, it's not a marathon event, it's really a sprint event. So.
And Hawkswood's time, 13 minutes 10.6 on stage 1. Matt Summerfield knows all about this road. He has conquered the rally sprint but hasn't finished the rally for 4 years.
Matt will be coming off that big win at Rally Whangarei, and there is now no doubt that Matt has the pace to win this event. But as we all know, reliability has been an issue with this car. Hopefully Matt can put the package together and conquer his home event.
Well, this rain will certainly present some challenges on this stage too.
I think that's a big difference from this rally to other rallies is the Fords here, you really have to like go back to first gear, stop, and then drive through and carry on with your rally. If you just think, oh, it's just a little Ford, I'm going to go real fast through it, it'll turn pear-shaped.
Massive work on this car in the past 3 weeks, and Ben Hunt is confident that the team have finally got it right.
And coming off the start line, it already looks like Ben's got more power in that Subaru, and that has been something they've been hunting for half the season.
A small mistake had robbed Sloane Cox of a day 1 win at Whangarei. He would have to take care on these narrow forest roads too.
But much to Sloane's parents' dismay, he doesn't really know how to take care even on fast conditions like this, and he said he loves the road, so I reckon he's just going to go for it this weekend.
Sloane never scared to use all of the road. Let's see where that puts him in regards to the stage end and the all-important time. Remember, first on the road, Hawkswood did a 13.10, Summerfield's done a 13.6, and he's done, coming up down to the line, 13.22.
Sloane's flamboyant style just has not made him fast.
Well, she won her first rally here in 2016. Emma Gilmore is desperate for a result too to get her season back on track.
And regardless of how her season's been going, she's got many passionate fans out there in the mud.
The mud starting to come to the surface on the stages already. Patrick, how will this affect the cars and also the reaction by the drivers?
The drivers are going to have to dial everything back, just bringing them back, search for the grip that's out there and just make sure they get through these stages.
Darren Galbraith comes off a podium finish at round 2 and straight away he's showing he's going to be a challenger today. And he's actually the second fastest on the stage, 1.5 behind Summerfield. Now, Dylan Turner hasn't competed on these forest stages before, so he will have to translate that sensational pace in Whangarei on those roads up north to the forest stages around Canterbury.
Well, the roads may be in the same country, but this may as well be Wales, considering how different it really is going to be to those smooth, swept, grippy roads that we had up in Whangarei. And Dylan's already struggling to match the pace he had with the conditions he's got in front of him. He's going to have to learn the car again from scratch.
Consistency is important in a championship. You know, winning rallies doesn't necessarily win you a championship. So we just have to be a bit smart about this. I've never done the stages. You know, they're quite tricky. The recce was hard today. They're very slippery, slimy, and you know, I just don't know where the grip's going to be and where it's not going to be. So we've got to be a bit careful and make sure we get to the finish.
Graham Featherston leads the New Zealand Championship. It's his consistent speed and finishing that has got him into this position, despite running one of the oldest cars. Josh Marston does have the hometown advantage, so he'll be hoping to convert that into points here. But 7 cars ahead of him, and the road is already getting slippery.
Well, I think slippery is an understatement, Clint. This is treacherous conditions. And with 7 cars ahead of him, there's still 68 still to go through here, and the stages are going to get used later in the day.
Reece Gardner striking problems early on, dropping 1.5 minutes. Dave Strong also in trouble and losing 2 minutes.
I think that 4-wheel drive car's only using 2 of its wheels.
First drive of the Hyundai for Joe Quantock, just outside the top 10. Coming up, slip sliding in the forest on the Lone Star Rally of Canterbury. In the Gold Rally Challenge, Adam Bligh was the early leader in his Evo 5, but dropped 20 minutes on stage 2. Keith Anderson was second on stage 1, but stage 2 also saw him drop, losing 27 seconds to the escort of Dean Buist. Buist took the lead and would not be challenged through the morning, showing his years of experience in 2-wheel drive rallying to find the grip on these roads. Blenheim's Richard Bateman was third on his Evo 9. A slow start, but he started to close on Anderson by stage 4. Canterbury driver Fred Merkin struggling with the conditions but holding 4th. Challenge points leader John O'Shapley in 5th. Having lost time on stage 1, he was improving over the morning. Phil Collins bringing a nice piece of history back to the forest stages with his Audi Quattro. He can feel it coming through the forest at night. Veteran Lloyd Owen caught out here by Ben Brown on his older Evo 1. They would finish the morning 6th and 7th. Stage 2, 33 kilometres, and includes more of Mount Grey Road. So some fast sections, but conditions are deteriorating. Darren Galbraith throwing down the gauntlet with a stage win here and setting up a challenge with Matt Summerfield. Andrew Hawkswood lost power steering on the stage, so Summerfield had to negotiate passing him mid-stage.
But I don't think that really would have cost Matt in these conditions. Andrew can see the car behind him, he's an experienced competitor, and he will know to pull over and let Matt through. Cleanly done.
Featherston third, but now 40 seconds down on the 2 local flyers up front who seem to have found an extra gear on their home road. A positive start too for Ben Hunt, lying in 4th place and enjoying being back on the forestry stages with a car that performs really well.
Ever since I've got into rallying, I've always had a bit of passion for forestry, coming from a forestry background, you know, working on the machinery, and really do love the way that they design the roads, and they are unique compared to anything else. You know, Otago or Whangarei, for instance, 99% of it is public roads, so yeah, there's a different angle that you take when you're driving on the forestry, and yeah, there's probably a lot more things that can catch you out, but it's no, there's something about it. The greater drivers know what they're doing, I think.
Reece Gardner putting his stage 1 problems aside, 5th fastest here as he fought his way back up the leaderboard. Emma Gilmore moved from 10th to 5th on this stage. Last year's winner using all her experience to get back into the competitive position.
It is a challenging event, being a forestry stage. You're definitely, I suppose it's more precision in some ways, and in a lot of ways you're really busy. Like when you're doing the pace notes, you don't get many long straights, unlike the rallies we've been doing where they're more open and county roads and you're carrying that speed. Here, Anthony's talking to me basically constantly, describing the road the whole way, and there's not much edge to the road either, so you have to really have that accuracy and precision to have a good event.
Josh Marston also improving to 7th, but still had a frightening moment on the stage.
Ooh, Josh is happy there's some room there because that's a long way down. I think that might affect his confidence for a few kilometres yet.
This is a 5 right into 5 left, 150.
And an unwelcome distraction for Greg Murphy, who had a transmission issue.
Could be a clutch even. 4 right minus. 15, 4 left. Lost drive.
And confirmation here, the car looks like it's only in rear-wheel drive.
Which, to be fair, Murph has some experience in on Canterbury roads.
But a dramatic stage ahead for 2 of our top runners. Sloane Cox, first to strike problems. So they got going again, but the car was limping badly.
You all right there?
Well, if that was me or the car. But watch that rally safe too.
Dylan Turner catching Cox in the stage.
Come on, Sarah. 30, 5 left, keep in, opens 80.
Cox pulls over and Turner carries on, but just minutes later, he's in trouble.
Sloane's gone through the radio to win with Cat Sloane. 60, you betcha. 6 left minus. 6 left minus, 400.
I don't want to cook the motor.
Nah, but we're 16k to go.
Should we stop and check?
Yeah, we're going to have to.
16k to go with an expensive engine. I don't think Dylan's going to risk it. That's the rally over.
So Darren Galbraith leads the NZRC cars, just 1.5 seconds to Summerfield, but they have the jump on the field after 2 special stages.
Matt, pretty stoked to be here at the first service?
Yeah, exactly. Haven't seen a service park here for 4 years, so absolutely stoked to be here now. We've just got a tiny boost leak at the moment. It's not really affecting the car too much, but it might give us the little edge that we need to leap back in front of them.
Andrew lost a huge amount of time in that second stage.
Yeah, unfortunately we lost the power steering in the first stage. We managed to top the fluid up, but it only lasted about 4 or 5 k's into the second stage and drove the entire stage with no power steering, so it really hurt us, but really hurt me actually.
Darren, challenging conditions out there?
Yeah, certainly are. Very slippery and muddy in places, yeah.
Home event though, so you're enjoying the roads?
Yeah, definitely. I always enjoy the roads, seem to go well in the forest, so just hopefully we can hold it together and keep going. Yeah, this next 2 stages should be a lot better, so yeah.
After disappointment in the first 2 rounds, Emma Gilmore just looking to consolidate a finish here.
Definitely not going for an attack at all, just playing it safe and just plan on being there. I think it's going to be a day of attrition and we don't want to be one of them. So, yeah, we'll just do our own thing.
The stages now head up the Okuku Valley, and with that altitude comes the possibility of snow. Galbraith and Summerfield really taking the challenge to the other drivers. This time it's Summerfield who takes the lead, edging ahead by 2.6 seconds. Featherstone still holding on to 3rd, but the gap to Summerfield has grown to 49 seconds. Ben Hunt steadily improving, third fastest on the stage.
And the real story here is that boost gauge in the centre console of Ben's car. The way that's moving means he's got power and he can go for it.
Emma Gilmore slowing on the stage, losing nearly a minute.
Well, we talked about Ben having boost. It looks like he may have stolen it from Emma because she does not have any. Let's hope that's not a symptom of bigger problems.
Into 4 right long, 30.
Gardner continued his charge back up the field, now up to 8th. Josh Marston also coming to grips with the conditions. Now, it's been a big job to get these two Holdens onto the stages this year, but a double finish here is important on the team's home rally. Rubber Development is owned by Lee Marsden, one of the few companies making rubber products for the New Zealand market, but it's behind the factory that RDL Performance is housed.
We set up the workshop here initially just to sort of maintain my own car, but it sort of grew and we developed into a business. So now we maintain a variety of both rally cars and race cars. Building one car is quite hard, and we built the first car and we thought building the second car would be easy, but when we started to build the second car we found things to improve, so then we had to go back to car one and change things on that. So it's not just double the time, it's probably 3 times the time to build 2 cars. But I think they've come out pretty good.
Some of my earliest memories of rallying with Dad was being the wee kid sandwiched in between 2 big fellas in the middle seat in the van, you know, racing around the countryside trying to get to service parks and, you know, cleaning windows and generally getting in the way, and enough nagging got me into the co-driver's seat where I started co-driving for him. But as happens quite often, you're in the co-driver's seat, you think, quite like that driving, you know, maybe I might have a go at that. Dan actually helped me build my first 2 cars, which was just, yeah, that was pretty special. And yeah, we've always been really close and rallied together. Rallying is really fun, but also if you can do it as a family, that is just, for us it just takes it to the next level. You don't want to be doing something and not enjoying it.
I've been involved on the rally committee now for about 5 years, I suppose, and this year I'm chairman as well. But yeah, my last few months have been pretty hectic. Running a rally and running 2 cars, and that's sometimes spending some time in my own business actually. But I do get a lot of satisfaction and enjoyment out of it, and to be honest, I guess at my age I need to stand back a bit and let the younger guys do the driving and I'll do the organising.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Midway through stage 4 it was no snow and then absolute whiteout pretty much from the midway to the end, so had to be really careful where we put the car and in the tracks, but yeah, so it was snowing on the windscreen.
And if we thought the conditions were treacherous and like Wales before, well, now we're just throwing in Rally Sweden to boot, so challenging conditions for the drivers out there.
Galbraith takes the lead back. Road position definitely helping him, but it's close, just 4.6 seconds separating him and Summerfield.
Short 7 right, keep in 6 left, 60.
Ben Hunt second fastest on the stage. These roads in Okuku much wider and open compared to the first 2 stages.
And with Ben's building confidence, these wider roads mean he can give it a good nudge, even with a bit of snow.
Featherston holding third, but Ben Hunt has that gap down to 23 seconds now. And it's not just the snow that's a hazard. Rocks thrown onto the stage by preceding cars can be an issue.
You've really got to keep your eye out as a driver, searching for hidden rocks like that one that can really ruin your weekend.
Andrew Hawkswood running down the field now after losing 18 minutes in service. So the snow was worse, and it seems that the car is in rear-wheel drive.
Yep, but it looks like Andrews may be enjoying it a little bit.
Emma Gilmore also struggling. The car is down on power, but she's hanging on to fifth, but under pressure from Marston.
200.
So confirming the results, it's Galbraith just ahead of Summerfield in a clear battle for the lead. Now the K2 cars provided plenty of action in the morning. Dylan Thompson leading over the morning stages. Ari Pettigrew crashed into a tree on stage 2 and was forced to retire. Max Tragilgas holding second in his Fiesta. Robbie Stokes in third, but the older Toyota just not a match to the grip of the Fiestas in these conditions. The historic challenge saw Regan Ross return, and the Escort driver immediately set the pace. Points leader John Silcott was close on stage 1, but crashed into a tree and out on stage 2. That left Tony Gosling to renew his rivalry with Ross, but he punctured on stage 4. That allowed Graham Cowie to close to within 30 seconds by stage 4 in his Mitsubishi. Paul Fraser in fourth in his Escort. And the Evergreen Camerons in fifth, back in the challenge, and their classic Mitsubishi Lancer. At the two-wheel drive open class, first blood went to Marcus Van Klink on stage 1 in his new RX-8. But on the next stage, it was Anthony Jones who edged ahead of the Mazda driver by 7.4 seconds. Stage 3 and Van Klink closed that gap down to 0.2 and took the lead by 7 seconds on stage 4. Jeff Ward was also third on stage 1 but hit a tree on stage 2. While Chris McLean would move into third in his modified Fiesta. He might be leading the NZRC, but Graham Featherstone's car has a long history of success in New Zealand rallying.
My car is a Andrew Hawkswood's car. He sold it to Shannon Chambers and I bought it off him.
I'm pretty sure the car was built by Neil Hawkswood. It went to China in about 2000, maybe 2000, about that sort of era, and then we bought it back from China. It came back in a pretty bad state. It had been crashed and we reshelled the car. We made a super lightweight car. I wasn't part of the New Zealand Championship at that time. I think it was about 2005 or 2006. And yeah, the car was always been super quick. So Feathers has got a rocket ship.
So it's got a bit of a history as far as everyone knows about Andrew in the forest of Otago, ripping the roof off it.
What a dramatic finish here. It looks like a ute, not like a Mitsubishi.
They might not know about what's gone on after that as far as Shannon had it. And it didn't take him long to pop it on its lid. So it had another roof on it. And then when I got it, I had 2 goes at the lid. So yeah, it's had the roof ripped off it a few times. And I actually think, when I think back, there's a guy by the name of Tapper. I think he was doing pretty well in a rally, and yeah, everyone remembers the arse out moment. So there's another roof. Ever since then, I've been looking after it pretty good. Yeah, nice build it is. It is an old car, but for me in the future, I'm not too sure what'll happen then yet. No solid plans, just keep trucking on in the old gear.
I'm here at stage 5 of the Lone Star Rally of Canterbury, and conditions are treacherous. Drivers would have been expecting the cold, the snow, but not the mud, and everyone today is struggling.
Now this is the first of the repeat stages, so conditions totally different for the Summerfields this time round.
And after all those cars that have gone through, you can see there are some tracks forming, which will give Matt grip some of the time. But if you go off the line, there's grip none of the time.
But the challenge for the lead was over for Darren Galbraith as he slowed with a sick engine on the stage.
K left, K right, 200. 6 right hug. Oh, it's hot there, isn't it? 30, repeat 6 right hug. 30, 6 left minus.
He got through the stage but retired at the start of stage 6. Now Emma Gilmore already down on power with a boost issue, and then there was this.
Oh, Emma's just turned into a passenger there. That's completely snapped sideways under braking.
She got going again, but once again it was very unstable.
That's just going to add to the list of problems for next service.
In 2016, the Ford on this stage caused many issues for the cars. Not this year, though, as everyone has learned to be patient, including Ben Hunt, who now finds himself in 3rd.
And Ben's in a rare position here for this season where he's in a good position, he's in a fast car, and he's looking comfortable.
Galbraith's retirement put Featherston into 2nd. And Rhys Gardner now 5th, a huge recovery after his morning drama. Marston now 4th. And Andrew Hawkswood was moving up as well, up to 15th despite a wrong slot on the stage.
The road goes right there, Lino. Oh, at least he got it back on without too much hassle, unlike Jeff Judd, who rolled on the next corner.
Stage 6 is the repeat of stage 2, and conditions in parts of the stage even more difficult than the previous stage.
There are some parts in here that's going to be pristine for the drivers, and some parts that are going to be absolute slop. The best driver is the one that manages it and comes out on top.
A comfortable lead for Summerfield, but he'll be all too aware that one small mistake can change a rally result. Ben Hunt had replaced his engine before the rally after discovering issues, which may have dated back to the car's debut back in 2016. So today was like starting again for the Auckland driver.
How ironic then it must be for Ben that when he finally gets power back in this car, it's at an event when it counts for the least.
Emma Gilmore's woes continued, caught and passed here by Featherston, and now with broken windscreen wipers as well.
Well, Feathers is having a fantastic day on these wet roads, but Emma can just not catch a break.
Josh Marston having to balance the speed required to keep Rhys Gardner behind and the caution required to stay on the road.
And Josh likes tipping the car in, but that's not really the right technique for these conditions or the position he's currently in.
Gardner pushing on now to be just 12 seconds back in 5th. And not great conditions to do your debut rally for Hyundai, but Job Quantock coping well, 6th in NZRC.
Six right minus.
And a big moment for Greg Murphy.
Left, 250.
That caught me out. Okay, keep going.
Okay, yeah, this is the
aim,
250.
yep.
Aim, bros.
It's not a golfing term there, that's a little bit of motorsport history.
So after 6 stages, Summerfield in a great position over Featherston, but Ben Hunt really happy to be back in a podium position.
Put the Dunlop softs on and ran them after that last service, and just an unreal difference. It was awesome feeling. It just was like on rails again. So I'll definitely probably keep a pair of softs in the truck from now on. Even the softs weren't wearing out there, which is, we've just done 50 kilometres of racing and still no wear in them. So, but the grip level was just out of this world.
Feathers sitting in 2nd.
Yeah, really stoked. Just got to be careful though that I don't let my emotions run away with me and get carried away. We've got two more stages out there in the snow, and then the night stages where I haven't been eating my carrots, so I might not be able to see as good as those young fellas.
You realise that you're sitting now on 4th overall as well.
Don't tell me stuff like that. Oh, well, that's great to hear, but I mean, it still won't change the strategy. Like, it is very slippery out there, and we'll just keep going at the same pace and try not do anything silly.
But it looks like it's all over for Emma Gilmore.
That last group of stages, the down on power is one thing, but then it started handling quite badly, and we had quite a moment coming down near the start of the first stage, or stage 5, and it just swapped ends, and so we were quite lucky that it just spun on itself on the road.
For the last 2 seasons, we've seen a little wee blue Suzuki tearing across the stages of New Zealand. But this weekend, the man normally behind the wheel is actually wielding the spanner. This is the story of Jack Williamson.
Jack, you obviously not the typical driver. Really enjoy the engineering side of the cars as well.
Yeah, definitely. So we always just look at what we were doing in the last event and just try and improve it every time, sort of thing.
And that Suzuki Swift that you're running in this season is heavily modified.
Yeah, there's not really that much left of it now as far as original, but we've now put a turbo engine in it, which makes a lot more power than it used to, which is a good thing. It's got a sequential gearbox in it as well, so that obviously helps. Just using the clutch, just driving my left foot on the brake and my right foot on the throttle.
And how does it feel to be crewing rather than driving at this event?
Yeah, it's certainly different. It's a little bit less stressful most of the time, except the 20 minutes when the car's here, and then we run around and jump up and down, but it's, yeah, good.
So the passion for you is not just about the car, it's also about the sport and the mechanics and everything else associated with it.
Yeah, just completely passionate about rallying. I mean, it's just trying to get cars to go faster and learning how to drive them faster and how to make them go faster as far as engineering goes. Just rallying's, just the best adventure. You never know what's going to happen. You think you've got everything sorted and you just got to do a little bit to get to the end, and then something will go wrong and then scramble to get it going again. And
it's a bit of an addiction then.
Yeah, it's definitely an addiction. It's a full-time addiction, but yeah, it's a good one.
Back up the Okuku Valley for stage 7, just 14 kilometres, but the rain has replaced the snow. On board with Matt Summerfield. Oh, hold on to it! What a moment, Paddy.
Over a minute lead. Matt, you're not supposed to be doing that.
Time in stage 3 was 11 minutes 08.8 this time. Well, it's going to be a lot slower. We'll see what it's like coming down to the finish. It's going to be over a minute slower, 12 minutes 10.3. Wow. Andrew Hawkswood back into full pace now after those issues this morning, but still a massive time to make up. Let's see what he can do on this stage.
But even with all these problems, Andrew's learnt his lesson from Whangarei and he's kept going. He's gonna bag some points from this weekend come hell or high water.
Let's see what pace he's got as he comes down to the finish. 11:46.2. Wow. Now Featherstone through him in 11 minutes 48, so he closes the gap to Summerfield back to under a minute. And you can't forget about Ben Hunt. He's been back in contention over these stages and really pushing here. Just 2 seconds slower stage time than Featherstone.
Well, looking at Ben here, I think he's finally got his mojo back. If we could look at the face of the 2015 New Zealand champion, there would be a big grin there right now.
The Lone Star Rally of Canterbury continues. Stage 8 in the snow from the morning is still lighting the upper parts of the stage. Now Matt Summerfield walking a tightrope of speed versus care. And it's at times like these that co-drivers can play such an important role.
It's actually more difficult than what you'd imagine. I mean, it is hard for him when it's sleety and slushy and he's trying so hard to keep it on the road, but from my point of view, you've got to try speed up when he's actually got grip and then pull it back when he doesn't, and you know, I have to have the odd giggle now and then when we're full sideways going nowhere, and it's just, yeah, one of those days that not like nothing else in the country.
A stage win here, confirming that Ben Hunt is back on track, also helped by the soft compound Dunlops, which are working so well in these yellow conditions.
And I was talking to Ben at the start of this event, and he said there was no way on earth he was going to use anything other than a medium compound Dunlop. Well, look at yourself now, Ben, out there and loving it.
So Summerfield's lead now back to just 48 seconds. Hawkswood impressive with his drive back up to 6th. In the other classes, Anthony Jones had extended his lead over Marcus van Klink throughout the afternoon. Then Van Klink damaged his sump guard after stage 7. His challenge was over. Jones going on to win the class. The historic challenge went down to the wire, with Ross leading through the afternoon, but he lost 35 minutes on stage 9 and dropped down to 4th. That handed the lead in the challenge to Tony Gosling, who now moves into the historic challenge points lead. Graham Coe second in the challenge in his Mitsubishi Turbo. And the familiar sound of the beautiful Escort. Paul Fraser third, well clear of Ross and Mike Cameron. Dylan Thompson slipped off the road while leading the K2 cars and was excluded. So Max Tregelgis took the win and the only finisher in a tough day for these cars and drivers.
The night's falling here at the Lone Star Rally of Canterbury, and we've only got 2 stages to go, and the drivers will be thinking about vision. The only way they're going to get that is the lights, and there's plenty to choose from. If you have a look at the lights that I've got on my hand here, there's 3 very different bits of technology that this driver's used to light the way. Halogen, LED, and full spotlight combinations. Also important is they're all pointing in different directions, so that drivers will be able to see where they're going, whether they're going fast, under braking, or even sideways. It'll be interesting to see what different light combinations each driver has going into these 2 stages.
So a new stage configuration combining some of today's earlier stages into 2 challenges in the dark. The weather has cleared high on Mount Grey Road to reveal the Christchurch City lights, but it's another type of light that has Matt Summerfield worried. He's reporting a centre diff warning light flashing and the car is dropping to rear-wheel drive.
This will be weighing heavily on Matt in these conditions. Does he have enough of the lead to hold on? Can he take it easy, or does he still need to push?
Well, he may not know, but his job just got easier because the news has come through that Graham Featherston has crashed out of the stage start. Still means plenty for Andrew Hawkswood to achieve another stage win here, and that moved him up to the top 5 with a power stage left to run.
And Andrew will have confidence in this car in these night stages. The lights are set up exceptionally well, giving him good visibility, and he can see every corner coming up.
Oh, Ben Hunt right on the edge there. Now, this is proving to be a very tricky stage. No one will want to retire so late in the rally, but for drivers like Ben Hunt, this is all part of the challenge of rallying.
And a completely different setup for Ben, way more side lighting, and nowhere near as much depth as Andrew.
I personally love driving at night time. It's adds a different aspect and a challenge, and I reckon it's awesome when you're driving at night time and you're co-driver and you are gelling so well and everything you do 100% and you're committed, and yeah, it's an awesome feeling, and especially when you get it a bit creasy or light and that in places, it's pretty unreal.
Josh Marston must be feeling unreal as well, now in a podium position on his home rally. This is repaying the hard work that his team have done to get 2 cars into the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship.
And you can see a third combination of lights here, with Josh using an LED bar and a completely different configuration and positioning of the lights in this car.
At one stage today, Rhys Gardner drove out on a punctured tyre to stay in the rally. Now he was 4th in the NZRC and looking to claim good points. Greg Murphy, 3rd fastest on the stage. It's a long way from his debut in the dark here in 2015.
2015, my first ever special stage in a rally was at night, and I was awful. It was just terrible. It was one of the worst things I've ever done, and I hated it. And I thought, I cannot understand this whole rallying lark and all this stuff. And I went off the road, I think, in the first 3 Ks of the first ever stage, and I was just miserable. But last year, after sort of understanding a bit more driving and sort of getting an understanding of what needs to be done, how you sort of set the car up and that kind of thing, I loved the last stage last year. So I'm actually really excited about this year.
350. 350. Yep, 350.
The Gold Rally Challenge had seen a day of frustration for Adam Bly. After taking the early lead, problems sent him to last place. Dave Taylor would finish 9th in the class, the Honda not ideal for these conditions. Lloyd Owen had battled all day with the Audi of Phil Collins, who was still somewhere in the air tonight. And in the end, the Audi stayed ahead by just 30 seconds. Go Phil! Ben Brown lucky not to slip off the road here on stage 5, but he kept going to score 6th behind Jono Shapley, who would lose his championship lead here. Fred Merkin 4th, with Richard Bateman 3rd. Keith Anderson impressed the judges with his performance and was awarded the Gold Fuel bonus and 2nd in class. But the winner and outstanding driver of the rally went to Dean Buist with a massive 5-minute 15-second lead. Buist not only dominated the Gold Challenge, but was the fastest 2-wheel drive, 2nd outright on stages 9 and 10, and 3rd overall in the Canterbury Rally. And that performance will move him into the points lead in the Gold Rally Challenge. So just the power stage to run. But for the Summerfields, it was more about getting to the end of their home rally than any more stage wins.
Yeah, huge relief for Matt and Nicole. This is a familiar stage for them, the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint, coming down to the last final moments, and it doesn't even matter that it's in the dark. There's the dipper coming through there. Feed it the gas, Matt. Hold it in on the right-hand side. You're nearly there. There's the finish. Yes, you've done it.
Matt, you're here at the end.
Yeah, that's the main thing, eh? 5th year trying to finish Canterbury Rally, and I'm here, so yeah, that's the bit that really means everything to the whole team right now. It's awesome. Yeah, I'm blown away.
And one more chance too for Andrew Hawkswood to score points after a shocking morning. Summerfield's time was 11 minutes 24.3. Looks like Hawkswood is a lot faster, screaming down the road.
Come on, Andrew, use all of the road. You've seen it done on TV. Oh, he's not smooth, but he's super quick through here.
10 minutes 56.6.
Andrew, stonking run through there.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm not sure how we went, but we tried, but I don't know. It's hard to gauge in that, eh? Like you're just trying to pick the slippery stuff, and especially at night, the changes of surfaces. Holy crap! I'm just glad it's over, eh?
Well, Ben Hunt will be wishing it's all over too. No brakes. Can you imagine that on the fastest stage of the day, downhill at night?
I've got no pedal at all. It's all right. You're on the podium.
Ben, everything on fire coming down into there.
Is it on fire, was it?
Mate, everything was on fire.
I think we've done a back caliper again, I think, and it must have been squirting fluid everywhere and had no brakes for probably the last 10k there, and pain in the arse, but that's rallying and drive it on the gearbox.
Greg Murphy had stopped to clear a rock from his brakes, but he made up for it, coming down to the finish.
50, very long 7 right minus. Finish, 7 left minus, 6 right minus.
Stage time 11:20.7. So Hawkswood first in the power stage, Murphy second. So the final results in the NZRC then, and Matt Summerfield with a second win of 2017 from Ben Hunt and Josh Marston. Hawkswood, the big comeback in 5th. So Matt finally gets to finish his home rally, and that's given him the lead in the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship. Reece Gardner's persistence rewarded. He's second, Hawkswood moving up to 3rd. Dean Bewis heads the Gull Rally Challenge after that fantastic drive. In the two-wheel drive championship, Max Tragilgis moves into the lead over Anthony Jones. And Tony Gosling takes the lead in the historic challenge. He could prove hard to beat this year. The championship now takes a break over the winter. We return at Rally Coromandel on August 26 for round 4 of the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship. Proudly powered by Gull, driven by Dunlop.